Hello, everybody. C. Ray Brower here with Your Perfect Home, and we are live today with Becca Mock from Diamond Legacy Insurance Services, and we're going to find out lots about her and Diamond Legacy coming up next. And we're back. How are you today, Becca?
I'm well. How are you?
You know, just another day in real estate paradise. I tell you, just things are happening, and we're happy. I got buyer in contract on one of our team listings, and one of my mentees got a buyer in contract and getting ready to go to Kansas, and lots of things happening.
Fantastic. Yeah.
How about you?
Day. Yeah, we're staying really busy. We have a lot going on, and the insurance market right now is a little hairy, but we're staying incredibly busy, and we're able to find a spot for, I'd say, almost every client that is referred to our office. So we're doing pretty good.
Well, that is great. I know made the change to Diamond Legacy, which is you guys are an insurance broker now. Is that correct?
Correct. We are now brokers.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know exactly what benefits and what that means. So why don't you explain that to them?
Yeah. So, coming from a farmer's agency, our contract with farmers was first to write farmers policies. And so that's, the direction that we had to go when we were farmers agents. However, as a brokerage now, what we're able to do is, shop your policies with multiple carriers so that we not only find the best coverage, but we also find the best pricing. So it's very flexible, as renewals come in. If, that particular carrier took a big rate increase, we're able to then shop, that policy and other carriers to see, where the best pricing lands.
Yeah. And also the best coverage. You see, I got Jack here. I got Jack. He decided to come visit us.
Love it.
He likes it when I get here in front of the computer. He likes to come up here and get his ears scratched and tail scratched. And that is one of our rescue kitties. We were down at the park walking our dogs, and there was a lady in the park that she's looking up and she's looking at her phone and she's doing this. And I says, "Is there something wrong?" She says, I got really good hearing, and I heard that kitten up there in the tree. Oh. And Sue says, "Well, we've got a ladder. My husband can get it." So I went home, got the ladder, came back, saved Jill. Jill was the one that was up in the tree. And then by the time I got back, they'd found Jack, and the lady was going to keep Jack and Sue was going to keep Jill. And then finished our dog walk. We're going back home. I'm almost home, and the lady calls me and says, "I hear another one." Okay, well, I got to get the dogs home. So when I get the dogs home, I go back, and she had actually found the other cat, was on the ground, wasn't in a tree.
Oh. And
so now she's got two kittens, and her son's with her, and says, "Well, are we taking them both home, Mom?" And she says, "No, I can't have two cats." Looks at me and says, "Do you think your wife would take the other one?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure she would take all three, actually." But we ended up with two, Jack and Jill. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
We're good.
So now that I know you guys were able to save me a whole bunch of money and keep the same kind of coverage when I moved away, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I'm seeing that a lot. Yeah, we're seeing that a lot. There's not only are we seeing more coverage options to provide our clients, but we're also seeing pretty substantial savings. Usually, on average, I'm seeing about $400. I think my the largest savings I've seen is about $2,500 a year with a particular client.
$2,500?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow.
But they had quite a few policies, so it wasn't just across, they had some landlord policies and whatnot. So yeah, so we're seeing a pretty significant savings, which is really good for our clients. We're happy to see that.
Yeah, well, that's great. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
So me and you've known each other for like ever, pretty much ever.
Yes, when you used to work on our truck.
Yeah, way back with the B&I group in Tracy is where we met. And
yes.
then,
Yes, my first B&I chapter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You glow girls.
Yep. Still around.
I'm
surprised
running?
you remember that. Yes.
And I saw your story this morning about how your kids emulate you, but they don't do everything.
Not when it comes to cleaning. No, not at all. My husband and I were just joking about that because both of us are very clean and organized, and neither of our kids are. So, it's not rubbing off.
It's amazing though, because that's exactly how me and Sue felt as the kids were here and what have you. And now they're both very, very organized and very neat. So they just don't do it at home. They go way into it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, my oldest is in college now and he's not doing it there either. So we'll see.
Well, no, it doesn't happen immediately.
Okay. So there's still hope is what you're saying.
There's still hope.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Right on. So what else is happening in your life?
In insurance life? Yeah.
What's that?
In the insurance life?
No, your personal life. This is Jack, get your tail out of the camera.
Yeah, life is a little crazy right now. My oldest is he's playing baseball in college, and he just got his long-awaited offer. So he's going to be moving to Indiana. So we're just trying to get, all those details sorted out. And my younger one is, he broke his ankle playing golf like last July, and he's finally been cleared. So he's going to be doing football and golf team. And so, just doing all that fun stuff. So just trying to stay busy with that. And yeah.
You've always had a very active sports life.
Yes.
But I got to know, how do you break your ankle playing golf? That's swinging way too hard.
Right. So he stepped in a gopher hole. While swinging. And yeah.
So while swinging?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he broke it in a couple places. So yeah, it was a doozy. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a guy I was golfing with stepped in a gopher hole walking and pulled his Achilles tendon really bad, but I've never heard of anybody actually breaking bones playing golf.
Yeah, I know. That was a chuckle every time people would, see him in a cast and say, what happened? And he'd go golfing. And I told him, you can't just say golfing. You have to say, I stepped in a gopher hole, because everyone's like, golfing. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So where in Indiana is your son headed?
He's headed to Southern Indiana University, which is in Evansville, Indiana. It's about 2 hours from Nashville.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So he'll
Very nice.
be in the fall. Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. I don't like that it's so far away, but, we'll manage.
Scholarship's good.
He got a full academic ride. So
there we go.
Yeah.
There
scholarship
we go.
was good. It was an offer he couldn't pass up.
Yeah, that's it. With a full academic ride, you can afford to go back once in a while and visit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't have to pay for it anymore. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. 2 hours from Nashville. That's someplace I kind of always wanted to go see myself. So.
Yeah, we've never been there, so that will be, one of the trips. I know a lot of the flights only go into Nashville. They do have a airport in Evansville, but I guess it's kind of like the Livermore Airport where it's really tiny, and so
right.
I think most of the flights will happen into Nashville, and then we'll drive to Evansville. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Very,
New
very
adventure.
Cool. Yep. Many years ago, we went to Georgia. Got to get to see one of the practice rounds of the Masters.
Ooh.
And so booked all of our stuff. This is long before cell phones and everything. Booked everything online through a thing, and the closest place that I could find was a little town called Greenville, close to Augusta.
Okay.
So, that's great. I booked these things. I don't really pay any more attention. We are on the way out the door with all of our stuff. And I'm back then, of course, the MapQuest where you had to print out everything.
Don't miss that.
Exactly. So I get everything printed out, and we're landing in Atlanta, and it's a 4-hour drive to our motel. And I'm like, that's impossible. It was like right there.
Right.
Just right there. I mean,
right.
How could it possibly be 4 hours? Well, it was Greenville, Indiana. I do believe it was Indiana, but it was a different Greenville, not Georgia. It was, I believe, Indiana, but whatever. It was 4 hours away.
Oh, yeah.
And I called and said, hey, I book everything. Everything else I've got booked is Georgia. How could you possibly book me in a motel in
Indiana?
Yeah. In Greenville? I mean, well, we're really sorry. I said, so what are we going to do? And they said, well, we can get you into this hotel. It's just outside of Atlanta. It's a little longer drive to Augusta, but we can get you in. I went, great. It was $250 a night, if I remember right. We land in the middle of the night. We get in the car. We drive down the freeway. We get off on the off ramp, and there's a truck stop sign and a big
password for the internet.
Hold on one second. Slow ships 411. Slow ship.
Slow what?
Ship. Like a boat?
Yeah.
411.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Trying to get internet service. But there's a sign over the top of the motel, I think it was either $19 or $29 a night. And we're paying $250 and check in.
Big difference.
And ask the guy, go, really? And he goes, you're going to the Masters, aren't you? You pay the going rate, and that's the going rate right now. And I went, okay. There was cracks in the windows this wide. The door locked, but you could see daylight all the way around it. Fortunately, it was springtime and warm, but that room had to be miserable in the winter.
That sounds awful. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, you'll never make that mistake again, will you?
No, now I can really see it all. It's way better. Yeah. I think that was through our timeshare and RCI, if I remember correctly. And it was just it was a real fiasco, but got to go to the Masters, which was very, very cool.
Right, exactly. I mean, the outcome was still the same, so at least you got to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during the Masters, it was very pleasant in Georgia. I would say, I really, really liked Georgia a lot. And then several years later, my sister-in-law is an artist, and she had her first showing, and it was in Adairsville, Georgia, which is the opposite way from Atlanta that Augusta is. But
I haven't been out to either, so
yeah, her showing was on May 29th. And the week before, I had a friend that lived back there, and he said the week before it was like 79, 82, and really low humidity. We got there, it was 105 and 100% humidity. It was horrible.
Yeah, that humidity is no fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know we keep watching the weather, and it's actually not a lot different than Livermore. But it does get a little bit colder. But some of his teammates were saying, yeah, the worst part is the worst weather is when you're going to be home in December, January. So it's not that big of a deal. So.
You got an angry dog too?
Our pool guy is here, and he rang the doorbell. So she's like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah, that was the internet. It was a solar person trying to get Wi-Fi so that they could give us a quote.
It always, you'll love solar. I definitely recommend solar.
Yeah. You're PG&E also, huh?
Yes. We got solar in June, and our PG&E bill was about $350 on the low side and about $550 on the high side. And I'm now paying, right now over the winter, it's gone up to about $200, but in the summer I was paying about $50 a month. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's great. Yeah. So I apologize.
And you purchased, or you purchased your solar, or you went with the power purchase agreement?
We purchased it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we were told that it's a lot better to do the purchase, especially if you decide to sell, because it's very difficult to sell with leased solar. It's a whole different process, I guess. So
it is a little bit different. The leases, the true out and out leases, can be a real problem. The power purchase agreements that most of everybody has gone to really makes it relatively simple to make that transfer. So you don't have the big out of pocket expense to put the panels on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if any of your clients are thinking of getting solar, do it now, because you've got some nice rebates, and I guess they're changing the way that it's going to be happening as far as rebates go and cost and things like that. So
yeah, the 13th of April, I think it is when they changed their rebate program from PG&E, which, they're not going to be giving you credit for what you give them. It's going to make a lot more sense to have your own battery backup.
Right.
So that you've got power 24/7 out of your solar instead of just when the sun's up.
Right.
But even now, the PG&E sells it to us at 30 some odd cents a kilowatt hour. And when you pump it back into them and they true up annually, they pay you 4 cents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big difference.
The new thing, they're going to true up monthly. So during those times when you're pumping it in, they'll give you a little bit back. But on those months that you're not producing solar, they're going to still charge you the other rate. So. Right.
Yeah, no, I'm happy we got it when we did.
Yeah, that's why we're looking right now is that whole new system that they're coming up with.
Yeah, exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah. Sue, she'd been dead set against it forever, and of course the last couple of years with all the lawsuits with the PG&E's done, and now they're burying lines, and the grid is not what it should be, and blah blah blah. Right? Who gets to pay for it?
We do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was my thoughts too.
Yeah. I mean, in the last 2 years, our PG&E bills have basically doubled in the last
Yeah.
few years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. So yeah, that was my thinking at least. So it was time.
Yeah, exactly. And the girl from Sunrun that came and gave us the first estimate, because Sue, she wants to make sure she's getting the best deal. So she's getting a couple, 3 different people in, right?
Great.
But that girl has been with Solar City, which was bought out by Tesla, which was bought out by Sunrun, and made the whole transition through all of those. And she actually knew one of my BNI members here from Stockton.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, she's got some education, and if she's with different carriers,
Yeah.
she knows different options. So yeah, that's good.
And of course, I told Sue that was like 12 years ago, and tried to tell you then that we could get solar, and instead of paying 22 cents or whatever it works out to, you could be at 12.
Right.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Well, that's wonderful. Are you going to come back and visit us again monthly, or?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to give you guys some education on insurance, and the market's really changing in California. There's a lot going on. So I would have a lot to share.
Well, great.
If you,
let's plan on just doing this monthly. I've already got the whole studio set up for us with Diamond Legacy and everything. The one thing I didn't have running today was your banner.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to click that. So why don't you tell everybody how they can get hold of Becca and Diamond Legacy?
Sure. So our office number is 925-495-2233. We are located in downtown Livermore, right around the corner from the Riata in the Old Theater Mall on 2nd Street. My email is Becca, Becca, at diamondlegacyins.com. So feel free to email me if you have questions, if you just want to review, your current policy, even if you don't want to quote, just to kind of know from, another party, what does my coverage look like? What does this mean? And that's something we're really good about doing in our agency, is just kind of focus on, coverage and making sure that, in the event that something does happen and a claim needs to be filed, everyone wants to make sure they have the right insurance in place.
Right.
And a lot of people are scared because they think, oh, it's going to cost me a lot. But in actuality, it can oftentimes be the opposite. So,
yeah. Especially being a broker and being able to shop those prices and those coverages. I know, like you said, you've seen an average of about $400 and up to $2,500 savings. And you guys saved me like $600 and some dollars, if I remember correctly. So
yeah.
And basically all the same coverage. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's every client is a little bit different. Every household is different, but there's a lot of changes going on in the California market, and it's affecting every carrier. It's not just 1 or 2 carriers. We're seeing huge changes with every single carrier in California, and a lot of carriers are pulling out. And I'd say, right now, the biggest thing in the insurance market is you need to have an agent.
Is what?
You need to have an agent that has your back. Don't try and do things on your own or on the website. Because a lot of people, what they do is they look at the pricing and they go, okay, I want the cheapest, not realizing what that actually means and what that covers and what it doesn't cover. And so oftentimes, doubling, tripling your liability or, whatnot can add, $20 a year. It's not, crazy amount of money. So I think that's what I'm really seeing right now is, having an agent. Don't do the shopping for you. Don't do the quoting for yourself, because you're actually not saving any money. You're losing money.
Yeah, actually hurting yourself by not getting the coverage that you truly, truly need.
Absolutely.
And we have all become wanting instant gratification. Every,
Mm-hmm.
everything's got to be like this. And,
Yep.
and yes, it definitely has changed all industries. I mean, even my industry is making lots and lots of changes. And yes, by going out and trying to listen to somebody that's just on a website, you often are not getting exactly what it is you want or need.
No. No. It goes with home and autos in the insurance industry, but I think you're right. It's any insurance, it's great for it to give you an idea. But, to really understand the coverages that you have, in our agency, we're all very good at explaining, this is what it means. This is what it covers. And I've really enjoyed giving examples. This coverage is going to come into play if your dog bites your neighbor, or, if an uninsured motorist hits your car. So I really like to explain the coverages and then give people the option, hey, is this something that's important to you? If it's not, you don't need to pay for it. Let's take it off. And if it is important to you, let's leave it on. So it's really, to me, having an agent is crucial because we live in a very litigious state. And so you need to know, what you're covered for and what you're not covered for.
Yep. Very, very true. Examples and stories will definitely help people understand more. People that use all the lingo, the industry lingo and acronyms and everything. It confuses our mind.
It does.
And that's part of why people want that instant gratification of the internet too, is because they don't have to listen to the jargon, but then what they're buying, they don't really know.
Right. So. Yeah. And I've had my insurance license for about 14 years now. And I purposely didn't learn a lot of insurance lingo when I was new to the insurance world, because I was one of those who, before becoming an agent, I didn't know what my policy meant. I just did what my parents told me to do, and the limits that they told me to get. And so I really try to explain coverages in terms that you can understand, and give real-time examples so that you can see, like, this is a claim we saw in our agency. This is what this covers.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's really crucial that people know, so that if something does happen, they can breathe a sigh of relief going, you know what? I hate that this happened, but I know I'm covered.
Right. Right. And that's all insurance is about.
Yeah.
Is those what ifs. What if this happens?
Right.
And where does it put me if I don't have it? Sometimes it's more than we want to spend, but it's a lot less than what it could be if we didn't have it in place, for sure.
Right. Well, and if anything, and living in California has taught us that really a claim can happen anywhere at any time. And so to me, it's really crucial to look at your policies. I mean, I'm more or less referencing your home policy now, but also your auto policies, to really make sure that if a total catastrophe happens, you've got the coverage in place that you want, so that you have the coverage you need. And so to me, that's really crucial, because like the Santa Rosa fires in 2018 proved, it didn't matter if you lived in the forest or not. Fires are going to occur, and they're going to happen. So, yeah.
Yep. It can affect any of us at any time. That is for sure.
It can. Yeah. And it's a hard conversation. You hope it never happens to you, but if something does happen, and I mean, we've seen claims in our agency that you did nothing wrong. We had a client a couple of years ago. One of my best friends happened to be insured with me, and she was renting a home, and a guy was driving down the street, in front of her property, and swerved to avoid hitting a squirrel and drove his car through her house. I mean, she did nothing wrong. She wasn't even home. She was at work, so things like that. You just never know when things are going to happen that you want to make sure you have the coverage for. And she literally dropped to her knees crying when the adjuster came out. I went out to the scene and met with her and the adjuster, and She was crying because she wasn't going to take a renter's policy because she was renting the home. She couldn't afford. And I told her, you can't afford this. That she had the coverage. So it was, but you don't think things like that are going to happen. They do.
They do. Exactly. They do. You just never know.
Yeah.
Well, Becca, it has been a pleasure catching up with you. It's been a long time since we've been face to face.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to next month. I'll go ahead and get us a calendar invite set up for every month. If this is a convenient time, we'll just make it this time every month.
Sounds good.
And we will see you again next month. Everybody,
Thank you
you
for
all go out and be the sunshine in somebody's rainy day. And never forget to see Ray to find your perfect home. And Becca, one last time, numbers and email address just for them.
Sure. So office number is 925-495-2233. And my email is Becca, BECCA, at diamondlegacyins.com.
Perfect. Everybody, you all go out and have a wonderful day. Be the sunshine in somebody's rainy day. And we will see you all again